Hello again, I am Blunty, and these types of gently sliding shots are popular with filmmakers of all varieties, everything from the $0 budget types to the Hollywood types. They're usually achieved with some sort of dolly rig, and that is either a set of wheels, sometimes on tracks, sometimes not, sometimes on sliding tracks like these little standalone devices. And today I'm looking at something called the MobiSlyder from Glidetrack, and Glidetrack have a pretty good reputation when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I thought I would give it a look. Now, the MobiSlyder, as the name might suggest, is designed for mobile phone videography and small cameras and the like. It's built to be very inexpensive, to be cheap, to be very, very light, to be easy to transport and carry around for those amateur movie makers out there who are operating on a budget. And of course, being primarily designed for mobile phones, which don't generally have tripod adapters on them, it comes with this little mount here, which is designed to accommodate a bunch of different phones using a simple sort of clamp here, which will accommodate all but the very ridiculously big of your mobile phones out there. It simply snaps in like this. Unfortunately, one of the first problems you hit is there's no locking mechanism here, so it can pull out just as easily, so you have to be kind of careful when you're using it. And this rotating dual ball joint arm thing isn't particularly tough either. It's kind of cheap feeling, if we're honest about it. And oh look, see, that's come off there as well. It's got the same problem, no locking mechanism. Anyway, so let's put that in there, and we'll grab my phone here, and bam, iPhone locked and loaded. And just gotta tighten this up so it doesn't slide around so much. There we go. So now we can use this to slide side to side, or we can do this, and we can have push-in shots and things like that. It does come with some optional mounts as well, so if you're not using your mobile phone, maybe using a small camera or something like that, you can swap it out. So let's release that here. You have a little standard tripod mount there, which will go straight into the little hot shoe there, which can rotate. And you can mount, well, any camera with a tripod socket on it there. There's also a couple of different ball joint things you can replace on the end of here. So this one just has a piece of adhesive on it, so you can stick it to anything pretty much. And there is another one with the tripod screw on it. So your mounting options are fairly flexible, but I have to say the mount on it is the weakest part of this entire operation. Let's take a look at some footage, and I'll show you why. Now, I've been out a few times with the MobiSlyder trying to get my eye and trying to sort of learn my way around and find out what the best way is to push and pull it around and try and get the smoothest moves possible. But as you can see from this footage that we're looking at, it's pretty tough, basically. The problem is the mounts for the mobile phone, that little dual ball joint thing we were looking at, is very, very cheaply built, and it's not very solid, and you can tighten this up as much as you like, and it's still going to be loose and floppy, and it's awful, and you know, it comes apart like that. It's really, really frustrating. And the other part of it is the little sled device itself is very, very poorly designed. There is a lot of play in it, a lot of jiggle and wiggle and rock and roll, and as soon as you put any camera on there whatsoever, no matter how light it is, it jiggles and wiggles and moves about. So you have to be extraordinarily careful when you're using it, otherwise all your shots are going to sort of have this wobble in them. And you can see again and again and again in this demo footage I keep hitting that, and I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff. I have very steady hands. I can do moves like this handheld very smoothly, but with the MobiSlyder it's really difficult. Look how much play there is in it. Look, it's moving so much, and that is the exact opposite of what you want to happen in a glide rail kind of setup. You don't want it to wiggle and move and wobble and carry on like that. It is immensely frustrating. It drove me up the wall, quite honestly. And it made next to no difference at all swapping out the mobile phone attachment for a proper small camera like my little Pentax Q here. Very small, very light, would have been ideal for it for use on the MobiSlyder, I thought, but it's even connected directly to it, even without that rickety little cheap piece of crap arm directly connected to it. It still wobbled about like a maniac, and even under its own gravity, you know, without the human element, without me trying to push it smoothly back and forth, even under gravity, it would not slide smoothly. And, you know, that is the bare minimum test of something like this. If you can't tilt it up and it can't sort of slide smoothly and slowly under its own power, just under the force of gravity, if it can't even do that, you know there is a design flaw. It's a poorly built bit of kit. It's ridiculous to have something like this come from Glidetrack, who are experienced in making these things, and I've heard very good things about their sort of pro and semi-pro level gear, but to have something designed for the sort of amateur market or the, you know, iPhone videographers built this poorly is kind of ridiculous. And well, that's a little bit unfair. It's not poorly designed. The design is very, very nice. It's very clever. It's very light and compact and everything you want in a device like this to be small and compact and light and very, very portable. It's just poorly implemented, I think is the proper word to use it. It's got some clever features underneath the rail here. You've got a mount for a tripod, so you can sit it up off the ground on your tripod or whatever you need to do, which is very, very handy. These ends come right off, and you can actually buy, like I did here, a 660mm extension rail for very, very long moves and stuff like that to get you even more flexibility. These little ball joints here, they actually screw off, and if you hit the web page for the Glidetrack, you can find out they've got a bunch of different accessories planned, like little legs and little wheels and all kinds of interesting stuff going on that you can screw into there instead of these little grippy wheels here, and that's all very, very interesting design. It's just the fact that this little sled is built very, very poorly. These little wheels are horrible. They're not built to very fine tolerances. The braking mechanism is crappy, and even this mount here, it exploded on me when I was trying to use it once. It just popped completely off, and I nearly lost the spring that's holding in the little locking clutch here. And it's ridiculously poorly implemented, a terrific idea for a design. And because of all that, I really can't recommend this thing. I mean, everything else about it except this is great. I love it, but the guys, the designers over at Glidetrack really need to rethink this little sled device here. They need to go back to the drawing board and redesign this thing and get rid of this hopeless kind of thing here. This is horrible as well. Just that bit is good. This bit and these are just crappy bargain basement piece of crap, cheapo, lowest common bidder, I don't know what you want to call it, but these are rubbish. These ruin the entire experience. If it wasn't for these, it would be a terrific system. But on the plus side of things, it is a cheap system. You can get the standard set, which comes with all those little tripod adapters and everything, and the standard size rail here for, I paid about 127 Australian dollars, and the extension rail there comes in at about 70 Australian dollars. But all up for that kind of money, I expected much, much better. It is not the quality I would have expected for, you know, I ended up spending like $200 when it was all shipped to me and everything, a little over $200. But it's next to unusable because I just cannot get smooth moves out of this rickety little sled. It's just no good. So I'm sorry, Glidetrack and the designers of this MobiSlyder thing, you've effed up, basically. You've really screwed the pooch. I can't believe you felt confident in selling this to people under your Glidetrack brand. I mean, you've got a reputation to protect, guys, and this really is unusable for any practical purpose. I am annoyed that I wasted $200 on this unusable bit of kit. And I really can't say much about their packing either. This thing shipped from Scotland, where I presume they're manufactured, or at least sold from, and it came just in a little plastic bag. No padding, no nothing, and when I got it, the box was completely destroyed, so hard luck if I bought it for a gift for somebody, for instance. And because it was so poorly packed and poorly protected, the long extension that I got had a dent in it. Fortunately for me, the dent is not something that will impede the function of it, but the mere fact that it was damaged at all in transit is an indication that they just don't pack these things properly, and there is potential for you to receive yours damaged beyond use. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.